Hey world, and happy new year! I hope you all had a really good start into the new year and that you had a good end to last year as well. And yeah, let's talk about reading. I had a really good reading year in 2022. I read 85 books, which is I think 20 more than the previous year. And yeah, I know numbers aren't everything, but I also just really had a good year. I read some really good books. I am really proud of myself because at the beginning of last year, of 2022, I decided I wanted to read more non-fiction. I realized I really enjoyed it. I also I became head of non-fiction at work, which is cool. So I wanted to get more into the genre, and I made the resolution to always read non-fiction during my lunch breaks at work. And I did stick to that for a couple of months, and it really got me started. But then I also just read non-fiction generally at home, in my free time. I really got into the genre, I really enjoyed it. Sorry if you can still hear people doing fireworks outside. New Year's is over, but whatever. But yeah, I did really get into the genre, and actually a fourth of my reading was non-fiction, and I really enjoyed it. So I'm quite proud of myself. I had a good reading year, and I'm gonna talk about my hopes and goals for this next reading year in a bit, but first let's get to the real stuff. Let's talk about my best 10 books of this year. These are in no particular order. I don't think I have like the top one, because every time I think about each of these, it feels like the best one, and then I think about the next one, it's also the best one. So I couldn't actually pick like an order or like the best one. So these are just the 10 books I enjoyed most, in no particular order. Let's get started. Mrs. Death by Selena Godden. I did talk about all of these in my individual wrap-ups at the end of each month, so I'm not going to go into too much detail, but this book was so brilliant. It's really poetic. It was really beautiful and sad, and I just really loved it. Then we have Leky, Kummer aller Art. This is a German short story collection. It's a really popular German author, and I'd never read anything by her, so I thought short stories were a good way to start. And actually this year I realized I really enjoy short stories, or like anecdotes, essays, that kind of stuff. I really enjoyed reading a lot of those, so I'm gonna also keep that in mind for next year. But yeah, I really enjoyed this one as well. Obviously I really enjoyed all of these. And it also made me want to pick up another book of hers, like of her real novels. So I'm gonna see if I do that next year. Then we have a non-fiction. As I said, I did get into the genre. This is Wieder, Keine Ahnung by Tim Schreder and Jennifer Siegler. These two have like a children news show on television. And this is basically just explaining anything you need to know about German politics, society, history, sports. Like, it's just like a what's what of the world in like a really short version, and it was so good. It was so helpful. It was one of the first non-fictions I read, and it really laid the groundwork for me being the head of non-fiction and just kind of feeling like I have a better like overview of the entire genre. So I really recommend it, and I'm definitely gonna go back to it many times. I have my little stickers to know what's what. Another German author I never read was Simone Buchholz. She kind of writes books I'm not interested in, and I'm gonna be honest that I'm still not interested in her other books, but this one, Unsterblich sind nur die Anderen, blew me away, like completely. I wasn't expecting it. It slapped me in the face and I cannot get over it, and I'm definitely gonna do a reread of it now that I know what's happening, to really appreciate all the details. I think this one made me realize that most of my favorite books are ones that you kind of have to go in blind and you're kind of thrown into. And I really realized that I appreciate books that are kind of random and really emotional, and this hit the bill so hard. It just, oh my god. This might be the favorite, but again, I can't say that for sure. Then we have Everlove by Tanya Byrne, and just look at this. It's so gorgeous, it's so pretty. Again, it's a kind of random one, and I'm having a bit of trouble like summing it up and recommending it to people because it is about death. It is about two girls who fall in love, and the first half is like heartstopper sweet and adorable and just heartwarming, and then you know from the beginning that one of them is gonna die, and then she does. I kind of describe it as like Alice Oseman meets Adam Silvera, which is a really weird combo, but it works, and then it's also kind of supernatural, and damn it, it's really good, but also really sad, obviously. Another really random non-fiction is Haruki Murakami's T-shirts. This is a collection of his t-shirts. I don't know what else to tell you, it's a collection of his t-shirts. It's really random, it has genuinely just pictures of his favorite t-shirts and why he has them and why they're important. And the reason I like this is, first of all, because it's really random, and second of all also because it was my birthday gift from my co-workers, and they all picked their favorite t-shirt and wrote a little bit about it and like why it's important to them. So it has this personal note to me and like pictures of them, and it makes this already special book even more special, and I really, really love it. It's gonna be like, it's one of those like in my collection that just has a really personal, special place in my heart. Then we have actually two Mary Shelley books. It was a good year for me. I did also read Mary Shelley's short stories and enjoyed them, but these two like really did it. If you're new here, I love Frankenstein, I love Mary Shelley. It's one of my favorite books of all time. I really appreciate her writing style. I think she's really special and amazing. And yeah, there were two books. I actually didn't talk about this one yet because it was a reading, because it was an advanced reader's copy that I got and I wasn't allowed to talk about it at the time. But now I am, and this is so good. This is Meyer by Eekhoust. It's a German translation of the Dutch book. And basically, Eekhoust took two storylines. One where Mary is a young girl and she gets sent away to the country for her health, and she first starts to notice that she's attracted to the supernatural and the kind of dark, macabre, eerie presence. And then there's a storyline of when she's an adult and she's with Percy Shelley and Lord Byron and John Polidori, and they do the writing challenge, I guess, where she wrote Frankenstein. And it goes back and forth between those two, and the past is written in diary form. And first of all, it's a really lovely story, like the way she does it as well. But also, I've read a lot of Mary Shelley. I wrote my bachelor's thesis on her. I've dealt a lot with this woman. And I don't know how Eekhoust did it, but she made me believe that Mary Shelley wrote this. She just found the perfect words, and props to her and also props to the German translator Hanni Ehlers, because the way they wrote it, the phrases, the specific words, the like general atmosphere really was Mary Shelley's essence. And that's high praise. And the other Mary Shelley book I did talk about, this is Monsters of the Couch by Jenny Jagerfeld and Mats Strandberg. Also just really gorgeously done. It has really cool like way of doing it, because basically this isn't like a proper novel story. This is a collection of therapists' notes, sketches, transcripts of sessions with literary monsters. And I just really, really enjoyed it. It was such a creative new idea. It was a really well executed, and just, yeah. And there's the scene where Victor Frankenstein finally apologizes to his monster for leaving him alone. And I cried so much. Yeah, that's that. Another non-fiction, and a really surprising one, We Were Dreamers by Simo Leo. This is his autobiography / memoir, and I picked it up because obviously Shang-Chi was amazing, and I saw some interviews with him and he seemed like a really cool person. And then I also watch TV shows with a long-distance friend of mine to kind of keep in contact, and we decided to watch the TV show that kind of got him bigger, I guess, which is Kim's Convenience Store. And I thought, you know what, it would be fun whilst watching this show to read his autobiography, so I picked it up and kind of thought, you know, that's a nice little side story to the show. And oh my god! I wasn't expecting this. I don't know if you can see this, but there's like loads of dog ears of like favorite passages. It was so impressive. I still can't get over how impressive this is. Please read it. Please. And finally, one of my top 10 favorite books of the year is Supernova by Meyer. I finally finished the series. This is one of my favorite series of all time. I think the way she deals with politics and societal prejudice and the idea of good and evil is so clever and so well done, and it should be read and taught in schools. And it was the perfect ending. It was so good. I was scared of it, but it was really well done. And speaking of series, I also do really want to mention the Grisha series by Leigh Bardugo. I read the entire series this year. It kind of followed me throughout the year. Every couple of months I read a book. Each one of them I read in like 1 or 2 days, like straight through, just no distractions. And they are so good. The Grisha books are so good. I'm gonna cry. They are so amazing, and if you haven't read them yet, you really should. It's so fucking good. The characters, the world building, the magic system, the commentaries, the plot lines, the twists, the relationships, it's all... I want to say perfect. So yeah, definitely have to mention that for my favorite books. It is an entire series, so I didn't want to like put it on the actual list because I didn't know which one to pick, but the Grisha series was really important this year. So yeah, those are the 10 plus books that had a real impact on my reading year in 2022. Amazing books, amazing reading year. I had such a good time, and I'm hoping to continue that in this year in 2023. So let's talk about that. As I said, I'm gonna try to keep in mind that I really enjoyed essays and short stories, and also that most of my favorite books are kind of random, really emotional ones. I'm just gonna keep that in the back of my mind for the books I picked this year. And also I'm gonna try, or I wanna try, to read more poetry again. This year I only read 3 poetry collections, and I really enjoyed all of them, and I love poetry so much. And I did read a lot of poetic books, but no actual, or very few actual poetry collections. And I really want to get back into that. I also want to keep the non-fiction going. I have a lot of manga series I'm gonna keep going. So there's some stuff that's just gonna continue. But one thing I also want to really focus on, or actually there are 2 things that I really want to focus on. Because there are 2 kind of categories of very specific books that I always want to read. I have the opportunity to, I have access to them, they are important to me, and I just don't do it. They kind of always fall through. So those two categories are fairy tale books. I collect fairy tale books, retellings, old collections of the classics, very beautifully illustrated ones, and I collect them. I have loads of them, but then I don't read them, and that makes me really sad because I love fairy tales so much. That's the reason I started the collection. Fairy tales are something so special, and retellings are always so interesting. I don't know why I don't read them. I have them. So I really want to focus on that. And then there's this category that's kind of broader. So I am a bookseller, and we do get quite a lot of early access to books, to new publications. We get advanced readers' copies from the publishers and from our bosses, basically. And that's so cool. Like, just think about that for a second. I have so much access to releases before they are released, to new books before they come out or right as they come out. I have this great opportunity and I don't really use it. There's like a couple that I actually did read this year. There are so many that come in as advanced reader copies, and I think, wow, that's so cool. I definitely want to check that out. And then when the time comes for me to actually read it, it's already been like half a year. The book is long published. I kind of missed the deadline. It's like not talked about anymore. And it makes me really sad. It's really frustrating. Like, I have this great opportunity and I don't really use it as I should. So I also want to do that. I want to focus more on that. I have so many amazing books on my own TBR that I always get distracted by those. But I do want to use those advanced reader copies that we get from the publishers and from our work. And yeah, basically the idea is that I'm gonna try to read one fairy tale and one work copy each month. That's 2 books each month that I'm already gonna try to read. And in 2022 I read an average of 8 books each month. So that's not too much of that, but yeah, it might be too much, I don't know. I might have to see that I alter it every other month or something, but for now I'm going to try a fairy tale and a proof work copy each month to just kind of, to kind of remind myself that I have those. I always forget about them. I also always do have one book series that I try to read within 1 year. This year obviously it was Squisher and it was amazing. And I might do that again. I don't have one in mind yet, but I also have kind of the soft goal of reading the Bible, which is a long book, so I might do that as replacement for a book series. Just real quick, basically, I'm religious, my faith is really important to me, but I'm not that into like the church as an institution and like the Bible as like religious law. I don't really agree with that, and Bible texts have kind of been used in a bad way, let's put it like that. There's some people who use the Bible to make excuses for bad things, and I don't like it. And I thought, you know what, maybe it's a good idea for me as a religious person to properly read the Bible and actually see what it says and kind of, find myself in it, or find those things that people use as excuses for bad actions. I think it would be a good thing for me to do. As I said, it's a soft goal. I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna see if it works for me. I'm gonna see like if I actually read the entire thing or if I kind of skip around and just read things that come up. I don't know yet. It's just something that I think would help me in my life. So yeah, soft goal with that. Also, Cornelia Funke, one of my favorite authors, is set to publish a new book this year, 2023. She's set to publish a 4th book in the Eekhoust series, which has been a long time since that was published and since I read it. So it's set to come out at the end of the year. It was supposed to come out at the beginning, so it's been pushed back, and it might be pushed back even further. So again, soft goal depending on whether or not that actually happens and when it actually happens. But if that does happen, I need to reread the Eekhoust series in order to read that. And I think I would enjoy to do that as audiobooks. I think she actually reads those herself. So yeah, at some point during the year, depending on when the next book is gonna come out, I would like to reread the Eekhoust series by Cornelia Funke in audiobook form. Again, soft goal. Let's see what happens. And finally, for the year of 2023, I picked 5 mashed potatoes. Mashed potato books is a concept that the Books Unbound podcast came up with, made by Wallene and Ariel Bissett. And yeah, basically it's just books you've been meaning to read for a long time. For me personally, that's mostly next parts in series that I've already bought and have on my shelf but haven't read yet. I kind of do that a lot. I like the other parts of the series and then I buy the next one thinking, yeah, I'm gonna read that, and then I never do. So yeah, those 5 mashed potato books, those 5 books I want to get to now are first of all Töchter von Ilian by Jenny Manien, who is my favorite author of all time. I love, adore, admire her books. And this is the first one and only one of hers that I started and didn't finish. And I can't remember why. I think it was genuinely just that it's like a complex fantasy world and a really big book and I didn't have the time or like the focus. And I think I put it aside for a better time. And it really bothers me because I love her books so much and it makes me sad. I feel like I'm betraying her by not reading that book after having started it, so I want to get to it. Then, as I said, there's some next parts in series, so we have Aristotle and Dante. I think I have to reread the first part to read the second part, but I already have it. The third part in the Simon Snow series by Rainbow Rowell. Have had it for ages, but it's such a big book. And then Here's to Us by Adam Silvera and Becky Albertalli. Again, read the first part, really loved it. Second part came out, I bought it immediately and then didn't read it, so gonna want to do that. And then also the newest part of The Diaries of a Bookseller by Sean Barthel. It did only come out this year and I did buy it only this year in 2022, so it's pretty recent, not as long-standing as the other ones, but I can see it becoming a mashed potato book if I don't read it now. So yeah, it's also a really quick read because it is a diary. So yeah, also want to read that. So I have those 5 books that I want to keep on my radar to read in 2023 and not put them off any further. And there you go, that's my hopes and goals for the reading year of 2023. I'm really excited. There's so many amazing books. Actually, after finishing this video, I'm gonna sit down and write down all the books I'm really excited for in this year, all the new publications, and I'm so looking forward to it. So yeah, I'm really excited for this reading year. I had an amazing reading year in 2022. I hope you did too. I hope you read some amazing books. I hope you will read some amazing books in the year to come. And just in general that you'll have a wonderful year in 2023. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you liked the video. I hope you always have a reason to smile. And I shall see you soon. Bye!